Now, Chief Meteorologist Nikki-Dee with KLBK's first warning weather.
Well, today we've dealt with a lot of blowing dust, dirt, and definitely high wind speeds. Thankfully, things are calming down, but just for a little bit. It is West Texas. We like to keep it spiced up. Here's what's happening right now outside. Still, we're dealing with not 100% perfect visibility, but definitely nothing to what we were compared to earlier on. A beautiful sky, a little bit of that dirt mixed into the West Texas skies, but you know, it just makes you feel a little more at home when you do have the blowing dust and dirt. But let's talk about what's happening. I mean, we've got some clouds trying to push their way through into the South Plains, but they're really not making too large of an impact because we are just so incredibly dry. This cold front dried us out and cooled us off. But as it did that to us, well, it's pushed itself off towards the east. As it has, we're dealing with some very long linear lines of showers, thunderstorms, some of which have already produced tornadoes in locations that still had snowfall on the ground. This just tells you how potent of a system we have dealt with here in Texas that is now becoming even more potent as it pushes further off towards the south and east. So we're dealing with severe weather south and east, and then still seeing that snowfall up towards the north. Again, we do want to urge everyone, when we do have this type of a setup, especially in February, we've seen it numerous times, you deal with a lot of severe weather. We're talking about severe weather, high winds, and also quite a bit of tornadic activity is usually what happens. That's why we want to make sure everyone is prepared. If you have friends, family, maybe you're traveling, you've got some business travel, you've got to head up there for a day and then come back rather quickly, just make sure that you are paying extremely careful to the local television stations. They're going to keep you informed when it comes to all of the weather. And of course, we want to pray for everyone in those areas. Now, let's talk temperatures. You can see why we've got a severe weather set up. I mean, we had that cold front come down, cooling things off. I mean, yes, you're in the wonderful state of Texas. Thankfully, we didn't get too brutal, but you can tell we have cooled off just a little bit. And then you go up to the north just slightly. We're dealing with the 30s, and you push over to 39 degrees in Kansas City, and you push down to Shreveport. They're at 67 degrees. See this line right here where you have the blue and the green right together? That's where all of that, of course, heavy rainfall is being pushed its way through. So there's our cold front coming through, and along with that cold front, you are dealing with shifts in the way of your winds. Right now, we're out of the north here in the city at 7 miles per hour, but then check out those wind speeds up north. That's the winds we dealt with earlier. So this is fueling the fire when it comes to all that severe weather, giving it that long linear line. And when you deal with that, you definitely deal with quite a bit of damaging winds and, of course, the potential of tornadoes. So make sure you continue. I just keep urging you to pray for everyone. It's getting dark in those areas, and that makes severe weather even more dangerous. Simply, you can't see it. Temperatures right now, we're coming in at 56 degrees in the hub, 49 in Tulia, as well as over into Dimmitt. Over into the rolling plains, we are seeing the mid 50s, 58 degrees down to Snyder and into Gale. Feeling pretty nice this evening. And our winds, thankfully, have went down a lot. We're seeing a few calm spots, which is basically uncommon for West Texas. 23 degrees still over in Plains, as well as going down to 20 over in Denver City. So you're seeing those higher wind speeds along the state line. We're going to see those winds beginning to ramp up as we head further into the next several hours. We'll stay pretty much calm overnight, but then we head into lunch. The winds will shift out of the southwest, drawing in heat, and then we're going to see some drier conditions as they try to shift strictly out of the west. So some drier air will be in place, and that means we're going to warm right back up. And thankfully so. We're going to be dealing with some very nice conditions. Now, since the cold front did come through, we are crystal clear when it comes to any amount of cloud cover. That's why temperatures overnight, of course, will dip down. Going further on into Saturday, we're going to see some more of those clouds trying to push their way through, especially down towards the southern portion of the area, right around Higginbotham, pushing over towards Snyder. Not going to stick around for us too long. They'll quickly push their way off towards the east. Saturday is looking to be mighty nice outside. So tomorrow, we're lacking the clouds. Winds are finally down, so we will be below freezing. 29 degrees for the low, getting up to 72 by the afternoon. Winds will be out of the southwest, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Heading further into Saturday, we continue to stay pretty breezy. We'll have a mild cold front come through. All it's going to do is shift our winds. We're really not going to be getting any colder. Actually, we're going to get a degree or two warmer around the area. Then we have another cold front coming through on Sunday. That's when we're going to drop those temperatures right around 10 degrees, and it's definitely going to be a windy day across the South Plains. Heading further on into Tuesday and Wednesday, those temperatures will begin to get into the upper 50s and lower 60s by next week. So tomorrow's going to be one of the warmer days that we have. Saturday's looking absolutely divine, except for that breezy conditions. But it's West Texas, embrace it. But definitely, I urge you guys, I know I keep talking about it a lot, but when we have this set up, it's textbook setup. It happens a lot when it comes to February. This happened just a few years ago. You have to deal with quite a bit of severe weather. I mean, we've already had tornadoes touch down on the grounds. Buildings are, losing their roofs, and this is just the beginning of the momentum that's pushing them to the southeast.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Nikki-Dee. Thanks very much. Coming up after the break, a 5-year-old Texas